Right now at 10, breaking news. After months of pleas for transparency, Houston police finally releases its audit following the botched and deadly raid on Harding Street back in 2019.
A big focus of the audit shows a glaring lack of supervision, especially involving these fired officers, Gerald Goins and Stephen Bryant, in their cases from January of 2016 through January of 2019. In that 3-year span, Houston police audited a total of 231 narcotics cases, and according to the audit, out of the 84 cases where Goins was the primary case agent, 38% used confidential informants for controlled buys, and 36% of the controlled buys yielded search warrants. Now, as for Bryant, out of 147 cases, 63% used confidential informants for controlled buys, and 20% of the controlled buys yielded search warrants. Bryant also assisted Goins in 27% of the cases.
Now, the audit shows of those 231 investigations, there were 404 errors. Breaking down those errors, Goins failed to tag drugs before the end of his shift 48% of the time. He missed case review sheets 29% of the time. There were discrepancies in his expense reports 27% of the time. He failed to complete a tactical plan 25% of the time, and 23% of his cases had tracking errors.
Bryant missed case review sheets 31% of the time. He failed to turn in a case file 18% of the time, and he was late to enter tracking information 16% of the time. Bryant had case tracking errors 10% of the time, and 10% failed to show thoroughness of investigation.
In the end, the audit recommended more supervisory oversight, changes to confidential informant handling, and changes to policies involving search warrants, especially no-knock warrants. We have posted the entire 62-page audit on our website. Click to Houston.com.
Now to another developing story involving the botched Harding Street raid. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Gutierrez.
Hello, I'm Dominique Saxa. More charges filed tonight, including HPD supervisors charged as the result of the raid investigation. Homeowners Dennis Tuttle and Regina Nicholas were killed in the January 2019 raid.
We do have live team coverage for you tonight. We begin with Channel 2's Jacob Rascone live in our newsroom with the newest developments. Jacob?
Chris, what happened on Harding Street, the district attorney said today, was not just a botched raid, but a botched raid by a team of narcotics officers that routinely lied and stole taxpayer funds, what she called long-running corruption and an ongoing scheme. The civil rights investigation focused on HPD Narcotics Squad 15, the team that killed Regina Nicholas and Dennis Tuttle last year after breaking into their home.
To say these officers abused the public trust is a gross understatement.
15 new criminal felony charges against 6 officers, including 2 already charged in the Harding Street case, officers Gerald Goins and Stephen Bryant. They and their supervisors, including a lieutenant, as well as one other senior officer who worked with the team, now face charges including falsifying government documents, mismanaging payouts to confidential informants, and stealing unearned overtime.
The crimes themselves are not one-offs. This is not a case of individual rogue officers. This is what the law calls a pattern and practice or an ongoing scheme. Some will say that this scheme is just mismanagement. It is not. It is long-running evidence of graft and corruption that can literally rot an institution from the inside out.
Prosecutors are now reviewing thousands of cases connected to Narcotics Squad 15.
You did not deserve to wear the badge which is pledged to protecting the very communities and people you harmed. You've dishonored your fellow officers who do truly risk their lives each day for others.
Warrants have been issued for the arrests of the former officers, and tonight, this statement from Chief Art Acevedo. In a tweet, the chief says the Harris County District Attorney's Office has not briefed the police department on the charges. We have cooperated fully throughout the investigative process, and we will continue to do so. Live in the newsroom, Jacob Brascone, KPRC Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Jacob. We reached out to Mayor Sylvester Turner's office for comment tonight. The mayor's spokesperson, Mary Benton, tells Channel 2, quote, Mayor Turner has no plans to comment while the case is under investigation. As for whether the mayor still supports Chief Art Acevedo, the last time I checked, Chief Acevedo was leading the men and women of the Houston Police Department. The police chief, like myself and many others, serves as the mayor's discretion. Now, the Houston Police Officers Union issuing a scathing statement against District Attorney Kim Ogg after she announced new charges against additional former officers, saying, quote, it does not take 18 months to investigate a tampering with a government document case. This is simply a distraction from the repeated failures of her office and continued negative attention, which she seemingly invites on a daily basis.